Scott Allen Norwood. It does have an extra L, but it mostly spelled the same. It's really the EN that I'd kind of be like, yeah, that's not quite doing it for me. This one I'm still not going to say is a dead ringer, but we got to keep an eye and just think maybe, okay, maybe he counts, right? So he is currently 64 years old. He got married in 1989. That's 86 coding. Now, we do not know the Bills codes, right? They've never won one, but we've got a pretty strong hunch. The way to figure out when they're going to win is to look at when they lost, right? And maybe they got one from way back in the day. People don't give them, right? I think I had some sort of idea on what to look for the Bills, but I can't remember it all anymore. But anyways, they were in the USFL. Or no, Scott Norwood was. Okay, so he played in the USFL. Now, I want to say he's from Alexandria. I've never been to Alexandria. That's Northern Virginia. We don't claim Northern Virginia. This is Hampton Roads area, right? So he is 64. Basically, I didn't do like any research. I just had a thought. So we know for sure. Let's skip over to what we need. So look, I decided to look up Scott Norwood curse because we know for sure he blew a Super Bowl for them. And I had a feeling last year they would lose off, wide right missed field goal. I didn't have like a reason for the timing or anything. I was just like, I don't know what else to look for in a Bills playoff game but a missed fucking field goal. So that's just ended up being right. Right. So, got lucky on that one mostly. This was Buffalo's best chance to erase, but it's like if you play the same hand enough times, we know it's bound to hit, right? Like it's like okay, so yeah, we got that one finally. This was Buffalo's best chance to erase a horrible pass against the Chiefs. Instead, here we are again talking about Scott Norwood. Why are we talking about Scott Norwood? This is when we really start using words such as cursed. Oh boy. This when we dig up land surveying results and ensure that the stadium is not built atop some ancient order of ghouls whose sole purpose is torturing its frozen occupants. Yeah, looking at you, Miami. This is when we search for explanation to losses not born of our world. This is when we bring in the priest, bust out the sage, mount the flamethrower, anything. Wide right again. And before that, a missed touchdown pass. Josh Allen, who can throw the ball across Lake Erie, short armed one to Khalil Shakir, while also leaving a wide open Stephon Diggs, jogging into the play's abyss. Not 15 minutes beforehand, Allen had thrown, oh yeah, their quarterback's name, Josh Allen, had thrown a touchdown to Shakir in such an impossibly tight window while fading to his left and chucking the ball across his body. Not 6 minutes beforehand, Bills rookie tight end Dalton Kincaid slapped an Allen fumble out of the hands of Chiefs defender, primed to scoop and score to save possession. Not 5 minutes beforehand, offensive coordinator Joe Brady dialed up. There's a lot of familiar names here. This beautiful take on an orbit motion, identifying man coverage for Shakir and sprinting him out into the open for a fourth down conversion, meant to set Buffalo up for the win. The flow of the game, the direction of the breaks, it all felt like fate was finally kind to the Bills. Here was a group dialed in, playing smart, playing to win. I also want this book right here, From Grit to Glory, but they want like $50 to $200 for it. It's insane. It's about their most recent run. This was, but we already got the Lions finally roar, so that'll tide us over. This was Buffalo's best chance to erase a horrible past with this Chiefs team. Say what you will about head coach Sean McDermott and his penchant to melt down when the game gets tight, but this was not exclusively on him. This can't 100% be on a defense that held Patrick Mahomes to manageable numbers and punched a fumble touchback through the back of the end zone to keep the game tight, especially given how completely drained they were from an injury perspective. This was not to be blamed on any singular decision. Even the much discussed fake punt, which was snapped to DeMar Hamlin at the beginning of the fourth quarter, was done against only 10 Chiefs on the special teams, in which Buffalo had a clear numbers advantage. And Allen looked strong for most of the game. In typical punch-drunk, pugilist postseason form, he was chucking laterals in the divisional round like it was flag football night at the Ale House. Buffalo was hanging on to the ball, with scoring drives of 10 plays or more on 3 of its first 4 possessions, knowingly relieved their depleted defense and keeping Mahomes off the field. The Bills were not afraid, playing a hit list of Taylor Swift's ex-boyfriends while the Chiefs were getting settled. Ooh, I'll bet that's an Easter egg. That's an Easter egg. So I'll bet her ex-boyfriends are all cute, or all big receivers, and this is probably the first one she's dated that wasn't, or I'm sorry, big players. This is probably the first one that wasn't a quarterback, I would bet. And we'll see. You're already going to talk about Scott Norwood. Someone had to stop the Chiefs from reaching a 6th. Yes, no way they're getting 7, dog. You know it. Fucking right. Consecutive conference title game. This was the year to do it. Travis Kelce has never been easier, staying relatively, of course, to cover. The Chiefs' receiving core has never been less dependent. Mahomes, in his Tom Brady-esque quest to simply will the ball down the field, picking up every convenient flag along the way, has not been this out of answers consistently when scrambling. I don't get this. In the backfield since the Chiefs lost to Tampa Bay in the pandemic Super Bowl. Okay, I get it. And with the NFL in particular, we often look foolish when speaking definitively. We write in terms of permanence, best, worst, all, nothing. I always say like how I fucking hate when people like just generalize and like talking absolutes, basically, right? So yeah, I love this. We write in terms of permanence, best, worst, all, nothing, forever, never, and teams just keep hammering back. Buffalo spent the latter half of the season in complete defiance of our expectations, winning 6 straight after falling to below 500 the week before the bye week. Many of those games were against heavy hitters. One was even against the Chiefs. But now it's impossible to believe that Kansas City has not learned its lesson over the course of a painful slog through 2023, and they won't reload at the wide receiver position, especially if Kelce wanders off, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, didn't they end up getting, like, the receivers they like, too? I can't remember. Oh, yeah, they got, Hopkins? Yeah, like, what a joke. Now it's for nothing, too. Now it's impossible to believe that the Bills don't undergo some wholesale changes themselves. Their best receiver is 30 years old, hasn't posted 100. They got rid of him. 100-yard games since mid-October. Their 2024 free agent list includes some heavy. They keep saying heavy hitters, as well as a majority of their assembled roles brought in to buttress the championship run. Usually, when I read an article like this and it's like Sports Illustrated, like I feel so bad so many times. I'll like say like the same word twice. It's like I could have used a different phrase there. You know what I mean? But well, besides like how I constantly say like right and okay at the end of everything, I can't help that. At some point, Buffalo will have to go through the same transition. There you go. In talent around Allen that Mahomes is enduring now. We could be wrong, but how do we not see the Chiefs trending in one direction and Buffalo starting to fade into another? That's why Sunday. How do you not see it? Because the Chiefs have won 3 in like a minute. Like they're trending up. Okay. That's why Sunday, they barely squeaked by last year. That's why Sunday was supposed to be special. That's why everything was setting up for one cosmic moment. They love that word. Where the world was righted and the frozen masses. Are we fucking frozen in time? Is that what they're fucking saying? Would travel home with warm hearts. That's why a curse is the only explanation for why the ball sliced hard to the right, shooting off toward the black New York sky, as if carried by the ghouls themselves. Con or. Okay, that's a real fucking name. A mom named their baby that. Connor. It's. Oh my god. What a joke. Oh man, okay. Well, they got any other curse stuff? Let's just check out wide right. 47 wide right. So we know Scott can hit from 44, but not 47. So if the Bills are missing against our... Because the whole reason I did this is I think the Browns may win the Bills matchup because of a missed field goal again by the Bills, which would be fucking hilarious. You could totally see that, right? His longest on the season was 48. Why are they giving this guy a hard time? He's not even that fucking good. Come on, man. 40. He couldn't hit one that was 1 yard short of the longest on the fucking season. I think it was like snowing and shit too. Everybody talks like that one was a fucking chip shot. Like, he didn't like. I've seen so many worse shanks like this year. Like, way, way worse. Like, his at least looked like it almost had a chance at one point. But, wind and whatever was going on there. Like, that's why I never questioned that field goal when I was a kid. It didn't look like... I didn't question it until I saw it was in my history book in high school. And I'm like, what the fuck? Why are they talking about Scott Norwood? The same people that are trying to brainwash me with this fucking history shit. Okay. Let's see. Aftermath. We know. They lost. Became the longest losing streak. Futility for any city that has at least two major sports franchises. Once San Diego, whose last title came in '63. We're going to have to get hot on the Bills soon. We can't be missing when the Bills win. Dude. I could totally see them winning in 46. You get three crazy ones in a row. Browns, Bills, Dolphins. I'm not sold on that, but if I had to give the Bills a spot, 46 would be a pretty good one. Chargers can't be too far out of there either. They don't want to burn them all, though. Someone like, the Cardinals are the ones doing us a solid. They're not breaking that shit probably for a long ass time. And we'll know before without even having to do a numbers trick as long as they get that fucking Maroons championship off of there. Oh yeah, we gotta look at the Pottsville Maroons. $1925, dude. This was 100 fucking years ago, people. 100 years ago. The Pottsville Maroons beat the Chicago Cardinals on the road, claiming the 1925 championship. Okay? Now, thank God we don't think they do stuff as simple as just a 100-year anniversary every time. Now, they definitely do some 100-year anniversaries, but usually it's in a way people don't catch. It's like the back of the end of the curse is connected 100, not like the beginning. But this one, all you got to go on is the 25, right? So my guess would be Cardinals 52, right? That would make total sense to me. Cardinals do it in 52, probably beat the Bears. No, well, they might be in a different conference. Who knows? By then, that's a ways out. We're talking almost 30 years out from here, right? But I would say the Bears or the Maroons are going to do something. The Bears, I think we're going to have a better number trick for, though, because they got the nice 86 for us. This is the last time they won it, so let's see. Or when their curse started. Suspension of the Maroons has been subject of controversy ever since. Some fans believe the Cardinals have a curse since they will acknowledge it. Let's see. Does this take us here? Okay. So we know about the Maroons. Yeah, they're in PA. 25-28, and they went to Boston and become the Bulldogs. Pottsville 11. There's Beck. Let's see. Frankfurt Yellow Jackets. Dude, you see this? Do you see this? I'm sorry I made you watch it longer, but this is why Coach sometimes does it this way, so we can close it out with like, oh yeah, here you go. Immediately after winning the Anthracite League title, the Maroons issued challenges to both the NFL champion Cleveland Bulldogs and the Frankfurt Yellow Jackets, so the Eagles and the Browns. Hey, Cleveland Bulldogs. I don't know if I've ever heard of the Cleveland Bulldogs. I knew they had the Rams. They originally called the fucking Indians. There's this. That means the Browns have a championship we don't know about. It said defending champions, and maybe it just meant for that league. We got to figure this one out. Yeah, do you see how crazy this is? So, okay. So, yeah, oops. So there was this is just a mindfuck of all mindfucks. This is the type of stuff that, like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, here, I'm still recording. I thought I lost you for a second. This is the type of stuff that, like, when I was trying to first try to go back into, like, deep NFL history and stuff, it's just like, what in the hell am I supposed to make of this type of stuff, right? So they had an NFL franchise named the Cleveland Indians in 22. In 23, they call a different NFL team the Cleveland Indians, but then change that name to the Bulldogs. So what happened to either of the Indians teams? Like I know the one was now the Bulldogs. Like, but what happened to that one? And then it's like, well, what happened to the one that was the Indians? And so here we go. He merged the Canton team, Bulldogs, with his Indians. Okay, they merged, and it was Canton. Okay. Yo. I can't say the Browns are gonna move to Canton, but ain't no way the NFL's not gonna put a franchise there, right? Like they love Canton. Like, is there not enough people there? They got so many shitty cities like Jacksonville. Yeah, give me a Canton franchise. Move the bum ass Bengals to Canton. That's probably what Cincinnati's problem is, right? But I don't know. They do have the Reds there and stuff. Tough to say, but it's totally weird to me that you wouldn't have a team in the football capital. So either the Bengals got to move to Canton, because I wouldn't move my Brownies. The Bengals, even though they date back to '68, call it what it is, bullshit expansion team that has almost no relevant history. Like of all the teams that are like boring and cursed and all that sort of stuff to most people, they're the ones even when you look deep into it, there's not a lot there. Like they like have like no Hall of Famers. Like their best quarterbacks still getting snubbed over and over again year after year. I put that in the Hard Knocks intro trailer thing, but uh, I didn't do it. I like cut out the important part. But yeah, Ken O'Brien or whatever, he's been snubbed for the Hall of Fame year after year, and they just did it to him again. So it's definitely not the Bengals year. Let's see, dude. And then the Cleveland Bulldogs reloaded to Detroit, relocated to Detroit, and became the Detroit Wolverines, and then became the New York Giants. Like you see, like how they get you, man. Like it just goes so deep. So but all we need to know is that these fuckers won the championship in Cleveland. Because I don't think they did. They finished first. 24. 24. There's another Leroy that's always been big for Browns. Isn't that interesting? Just like Leroy Horde. This guy played for Pittsburgh State. He won 24. What do you know? Won 24 games for the guy that won the 1924 championship. Okay. Let's see. In 1963, of course, they did right. Almost, it took them almost 40 years, and they do it right on like one of the numbers we would have picked. People of Pottsville still embrace the Maroons. I want a team in Pottsville. Who could we move? The Titans suck. Like, just move the Titans or something to Pottsville. Give them their fucking team back. Like the teams I don't care about as far as like aren't relevant to me. Um, like the reason I'm not hard on the Texans is because when they become the Oilers, they'll be just fine, right? But like the Jags, they're trash. They need to go to London. The Titans are pretty whack. Of course, I'm going off the top of my head here. I don't love the Chargers in LA. Like they could just go anywhere, right? Like that could even be one to replace Pottsville, or Canton. You know, I think it specifically has to be the Bengals. I think Cincinnati has to get hosed. Like the Browns one was a teaser. Like, oh, they lost their team for 3 years, but then the Bengals actually lose it forever, and they're not man enough like Cleveland is to demand their team back. Right? They're just gonna go watch their shitty baseball. So let's see. Like they don't even have a basketball team, right? else is kind of Panthers. The Carolina Panthers do nothing for me. I know they made it to a Super Bowl. Maybe I'm missing something there, and there's some like way deep history, and there have been teams called the Panthers, right? But I don't think they belong in Carolina, but specifically, right? The Pottsville Panthers sounds hard. I'm down with that. Give me the Pottsville Panthers and the Canton Bengals. The Canton Bulldogs. Just make them the fucking Bulldogs again, dog. That's what you'd much rather see the Canton Bulldogs than a second orange team in Ohio named the fucking Bengals and never win. Like the Canton Bulldogs might fuck some people up. You know that's true. So let's see. I appreciate y'all give me a leash on this one. You know this is a harder type of style to do. We really don't know where we're going. We're just doing the flow of thought, basically. Try to see things that's stick out on the screen. Most powerful coach. I told you. So that's a good sign. Coach is right. He knew when they stole a title that was going to be like the big one. You can't do some shit like that, right? So they're big fucked. Same with like the White Sox, Black Sox. I don't know exactly what's going on with them. I do. There's a book I want to get on them. Betrayal, 1919, in the birth of modern baseball. So that one looks really dope. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, let's check this out. ABC did an article. I knew it was 108 on them. Cardinals are 118 years old. I think they, no joke, have to wait until their 181st season at face value. Is that too long? Because they are deep in already. This might be the longest curse in sports history. It's still not too terrible, but it's brutal. It's going to be the worst you've ever seen. 63. Okay. That would be, I mean, they're looking at least 130-year curse. And I think that's way fair. And like I said, that would be like another, they're still like almost 60 years out. What's 61 years from now? In 86? Yeah, the Cardinals got to wait till 2086, in my opinion. That's what I'm picking. I got to do the math harder and make sure that's exactly what it's saying. But like ballparking off the top of my head, yeah, 2086 or 2081, something like that. They're fucked. Let's see. Yeah, like the Maroons even beat like the Notre Dame All-Stars. And Notre Dame was supposed to blow them out. So basically what happened here was the Cardinals scheduled a bunch of bullshit games after the season was over just to get their win total higher. Right? Like, it was some weak shit. And the league suspended the Cardinals so they couldn't do it. The league was mad about the Notre Dame game, yeah, right? Like, you wouldn't prove that we're the better league, we're going to suspend you. It's the dumbest shit ever. That also makes you think, like, the Maroons deserve to come back. The Maroons is a hard, like, somehow that's hard. Like, it's got to somehow be related to the Browns, too. The Browns are the only team named after a color, right? So Maroons is definitely, and like it said something about like the Cleveland Bulldogs, all sort of stuff, right? Like I'm gonna have to like digest. Y'all are probably connecting some dots that I haven't quite connected yet, but by seeing me stumble through this, but there's definitely something going on here that has to do with Cleveland, like right now, because it's the 100-year anniversary. Yeah, I actually always wondered what was up with this too, but this is definitely some sort of red herring thing. It says the Cardinals broke this curse in 47. They're paying for something else, but I'm convinced every stadium in Arizona is built over Indian burial grounds. So we get Arizona sport hell. So yeah, the Cardinals did win another one, but like we got to look that one up, Right, we gotta figure out what happened 24/7. It's for beating New York in the World Series after 9/11. That's hilarious. That's so fucking funny. Like it matters if the Yankees won or lost. We would have been too gun-ho to go blow up the entire Middle East if the Yankees won. They had to tamper it just a little bit. You're already getting the Patriots coming up and shit, damn. 3 years later. Okay, let's see. Like, you all know damn well, if you've made it this far, that curses aren't like completely cut and dry. Just because they found a way to rattle off a championship in 47 doesn't mean that wasn't like the one somehow perfect magical sinking, like, yeah, that's the only one you're getting like forever. Like, it could absolutely still be a curse from the Pottsville thing. We definitely got key in on 47 too. But I'm just saying that stealing a championship is heinous. You're telling me they waited 22 years to win again and that did it? Here's your little slap on the wrist. Get the fuck out of here. Ain't no way. Something's wrong with that championship and it's getting taken from them too. I'm convinced. Like, and that's the type of shit they would do. Like, oh, make you think that the one stolen championship isn't cursed by just stealing a second one. Bro, I always choose those fucking teams. These fucking teams, that's so funny. 1947. Oops. Chicago Cardinals and the Eagles. Eagles beat the Cardinals. So you know how much time changes things. They can make any two teams do any championship they want. You could have it. What's something that seems impossible now? That would be awesome. I mean, you could have a Cowboys Eagles Super Bowl. Doesn't that seem insane? Why wouldn't you be able to? They're on opposite sides of the country. Why the fuck are they in the same division to begin with? That's how you know they're just fucking with you, right? Like, they're making the Cowboys and Eagles hate each other. This one's damn right there's going to be a championship one day. One fucking day. You better believe it. This is a Comiskey. And, like, what are the odds? They beat a Pennsylvania team again? Right? Something's wrong here. Second NFL title game after Christmas Day and the latest to date. So, yeah, they never were going past the new year back then. 60 yards. Two teams rematched the very next year, but the Eagles won. Cardinals haven't won since. Gotta figure out what the fucking Cardinals curse is. Sorry, this could be one of the longest videos yet. I hope I'm not struggling. But I know we hit some really good stuff, so let's see. Times. Alright, we're gonna end it after this one. Appreciate you hanging around this one. Oops, okay. Arizona Cardinals, owners of longest championship drought in major American sports, enter the NFL playoffs with some say a curse the team won't acknowledge. 44. 88. That's 44 times 2, so we need to keep it on that sort of stuff too. They've lost 777 times. Like, what are the odds, right? Like, they just timed their article like they were just waiting for the 777th time. They lost against the Rams, Cleveland, right? Sixth season. So they're still just talking about Pottsville stuff. So they don't want you to know when it happened. Oh, hey, here's your clue. As for the jinx, it is difficult to determine exactly when the curse of the Maroons befell the Cardinals and exactly who put it there. It probably started in the early 1960s. I was going to say 1963. Boom, here you go. Who noted that Bidwell had dismissed the title claim just as the Pro Football Hall of Fame, which opened in 1963, was asking former Maroons for memorabilia. They got the Maroons curse on them in 63. Isn't that incredible? I'm telling you, when it said early 1960s, I was going to go, oh, was it 1963 for their 666 coding? Yep. So they have a 63 curse. The Rangers, Texas Rangers, went 63 years. Sorry, I just heard a weird noise. It just makes me wonder what that was. Yeah, they got the curse in 1963. 63 to 52. I think that's an 89. Yeah, that's an 89. So they can 86 their curse in 52, which is a flip of their first one. Or the Maroons one, I don't know, I get confused. Why did they swap Charles and Michael Bidwell, I wonder? I think the weather's acting up. The curse is comforting because it lets you think, hey, maybe it's not them us after all, and maybe I'm not such a loser for never giving up on them. They literally tell you how they're giving you the fix. Right? So here you go, dope you up with this little stupid curse story. Now we know why they do the curse stuff. So I mean, they have to tell you, because if you just didn't have like them basically programming you to accept it, you'd be like, what the fuck? Yeah, that's hilarious. Alrighty, we're gonna end on that. I appreciate you hang around this long.